Hello guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to the TechTick YouTube channel. Although we are pretty much set and done when it comes to Nvidia's models for this Pascal generation, with one still to come, the GTX 1070 Ti, be sure to stay subscribed for it, I'm testing it out as I speak. I still haven't checked out a lot of their GTX 1080 Ti offering, but I'm trying to catch up by taking a look at this time at Gigabyte Aorus GTX 1080 Ti model. As you can see, this beast of a card packs in a triple fan 2.5 slot tall WindForce cooler design, which also makes it just a bit over 290mm long. The overall aesthetics is very similar to the Aorus RX 580, which I've also reviewed not so long ago, but the actual cooler construction is a bit beefier. Here we have a total of 5 composite heat pipes going between 2 aluminum heatsinks, underneath which we have a copper plate which goes directly onto the GPU and video memory. Right next to that, on the back part of the PCB, we have a row of MOSFETs and capacitors, which are making the card's 12+2 phase power design, and all of that gets most of its power through the additional 2 8-pin PCI Express power connectors. Of course, all of this would basically be worthless if we didn't have any fans, and Gigabyte actually put 3 of them, which is generally speaking not a problem on a card this big, but it's impressive on account of the fact that they've managed to put 3 100mm fans instead of the usual 80mm ones. They did that by stacking them onto each other, or to be more precise, the middle one is beneath the left and right one, so they basically overlap each other. Combined with the unique fan blade design, they deliver up to 23% of more airflow compared to the traditional fans, as Gigabyte claims it. All in all, the build quality is really on the level, especially thanks to the all-metal construction, even with the outer top shell, while the backplate is expectedly handsome looking with few subtle details, and with the addition of a small copper plate that goes over the backside of the soldered GPU, which should in theory improve dissipation of the heat. Of course, we also have your nowadays pretty standard details, like the RGB lighting, which for this model goes onto this side for the Aura sign, also for the fan stop for the 3D active fan feature, as well as a big X lookalike in the middle. All of that is controlled using Gigabyte's graphics engine software utility, where you can change the color and effects of the RGB lighting, as well as tweak other settings like GPU and memory frequency, fan speed, and the rest of the usual options for this type of application. Speaking of the 3D active fan feature, with it the fans turn off completely if the card is in idle or under light load, basically if it's under 60 degrees Celsius. That said, the temperature during complete standstill of the card is mostly below 50 degrees Celsius, and that's on an open test bed, while in a well ventilated chassis it could probably be lower, or it could at least withstand higher loads without GPU reaching that temperature threshold immediately. When it comes to load temperatures in games, I would seeing GPU reaching 62 degrees Celsius with a fan speed of around 1500 RPM. I've encountered the same fan speed during the Firmax stress test also, but with the GPU temperature being around 70 degrees Celsius. That said, during load the card wasn't loud in an annoying way, but still you could hear it working on an open test bed, while you will probably barely notice it in a decent chassis. Lastly, for video outputs, Gigabyte went all in with their variety and number. You'll get 1 DVI-D, 3 display ports, and even 3 HDMIs, one of which is on the back of the card, so you can pass it through easier to the front panel of those chassis that have a dedicated HDMI output for VR headsets. This number of HDMIs is also here, so you can run 2 monitors off of HDMI outputs side by side, plus that extra one in case you have a VR headset. Unfortunately, this isn't the Extreme Edition of Gigabyte's Aorus GTX 1080 Ti, which has a bit higher clocks, but it's nothing that cannot be compensated with a little bit of manual overclocking. Mine, so to speak, regular model of it runs out of the box at just above 1700 MHz of boost clock in Gigabyte's OC mode, which is what I've used for my benchmarking. That of course is not set in stone, since Nvidia's GPU Boost 3.0 technology bumps that up depending on the power delivery memory and thermals, and as you can see from my example here, on account of that it was easily keeping the GPU speed above 1900 MHz. In terms of getting some additional performance with further manual overclocking, I managed to get just above 12 GHz on the memory and around 2 GHz on the GPU clock, depending on the game and load in hand. This resulted in just a slight performance increase of around 5% on average. As for the performance, there is not that much to comment about. The GTX 1080 Ti series is the prime example of a high-end graphics card with its staggering 3584 CUDA cores and 11 GB of GDDR5X video memory. As you can see it here from the results, it chews through 1080p resolution like it's nothing, so it places itself as an ideal choice for gamers who use those high refresh rate monitors. Even with my 21:9 3440 x 1440p resolution, which I use here for my testing, you will also get smooth gameplay, while those who plan to game in 4K shouldn't have any problems reaching 60 FPS in most of the games. All of this product is not for everyone. Before all, on account of the price tag, which will leave you eating only bread for the next month or two. Despite that, I'm sure that this model will have its customer base and will find its way inside of high-end setups. That's it guys for this time from me. Thank you once again for watching. Feel free to toss me a thumbs up if you like what you saw, that really helps me a lot. Comment down below if you have any questions about this product or if you want to leave your suggestions. And of course, feel free to subscribe for content further down the line, or you can just check out some of my other videos from before. Until then, catch you later guys.